where do most agents go wrong with their costs?
So what the typical business owner thing to do is when you think, right, I need to make more profit, is like, right, I'm going to start cutting things. I'm going to cut staff. I'm going to cut advertising. I'm going to cut marketing. They're the first things that go. And in reality, they're actually the things that you need to grow. And so that seems crazy. So I always try and focus first on the top line, if that's okay. What can we do to increase revenue? Now, if you think about the letting agency model, I've been a letting agent since 1990. That's a very long time. And when I first started, there was only 3 letting agents in the town. Now there's 60, 70 plus people doing lettings in the town. It's a very competitive market. And so what's happened, our charges, our revenue per property is technically, if you compare inflation, gone down. Most letting agents are charging 8 or 9% now instead of holding out for their fees of 12%. Most letting agents aren't charging more for complex lettings like HMOs, housing benefits, overseas landlords, and so therefore those fees are even lower on those tenancy types because they're more complex and require more work. But fundamentally, what we need to do is to look at how we can make sure that we are charging for our commodity, and our commodity is time. So I want to use the restaurant analogy. We all like restaurants, don't we? You go to a restaurant and the restaurant owner has figured out that lobsters have increased by 50% and they want to sell lobsters. And so therefore, in order to still make profit on those lobsters, they need to increase the price that they sell those lobsters to the restaurant diners. Letting agents, however, since 1990 have had literally hundreds of pieces of legislation laid on them, which means their commodity, which is time, has increased and increased and increased. Their revenue has gone down. As a result, they're not making more profit. So number one, make sure that we are charging for our time. If something takes you 17 hours, work out what your hourly rate is and make sure you're charging for 17 hours, or find a cheaper way to do it. And so quite often technology, software, there's so much prop tech out there now, can make things be done a lot quicker and therefore a lot cheaper. But also we can make sure we're charging correctly for the things that we're doing by making sure we're charging for the stuff that we do.